Now we're going to do a sum of Feb-March 2020, paper 22. First question is, what is our first question? The first question is, what is meant by reserves were maintained in their most flexible form? When I say reserves were maintained in their most flexible form, it means that the capital reserves are used before we are using the revenue reserves so that we facilitate the future payments of dividend. This is the meaning of reserves being used in their most flexible form. Use the capital reserves first, and then you will use the revenue reserves. Now you have an ordinary share capital. You want to make an ordinary share capital account. When I make ordinary share capital account, I will take the ordinary share capital and I will put it as balance begin down 100,000. Now all the capital divided by the face value, which is 1, I will get my number of shares. What is my number of shares? Number of shares would be 100,000 only. Interim dividend is paid. This has nothing to do with the ordinary share capital account. It will come in the statement of changes in equity. Even this will come in statement of changes in equity, and this will come in SOCE. Now you have bonus issue. One ordinary shares. You have bonus issue of how much? One ordinary share for every 4 held on the 31st of October 2019. So how many shares were held with you? You had 100,000 shares held. So that means you did a bonus issue of how many shares? You did a bonus issue of 25,000 shares. 100,000 divided by 4, 25,000 shares. Reserves were maintained in their most flexible form. That means when I issued this 25,000 shares, I first used capital reserves. I first used the capital reserves and then I used my retained earnings. Now I have to issue shares. That means my capital will increase. So my ordinary share capital account would be credited. By how much it will be credited? It will be credited by 25,000. Capital is credit. That means if I'm increasing my capital, I have to credit the capital account. What will I debit? Money is still not coming in. What am I using? I will use my securities premium. So securities premium would be debited by how much? Security premium will be debited by 20,000 and I will not have any further security premium. The balance 5,000 I will use from retained earnings. So retained earnings would be debited by 5,000. Now I am preparing the ordinary share capital account. Capital is credit. So on the credit side of the capital, I will write 20,000 and 5,000. I will write 20,000 and 5,000. 20,000 is for what? The share premium. I'm using the share premium and I would be using the retained earnings. So I will close this now. My share capital closing is 125,000. So the balance closed down or carried down would be 125,000. I have to prepare my statement of changes in equity. Opening balance I will write as it is for share capital, for share premium, and for retained earnings. Then I will write the total. Dividend I am paying 0.08 per share into 100,000, so it becomes 8,000. Dividend is paid out of retained earnings, it is paid out of total. Then I am making a bonus issue. I'm increasing my share capital. I'm reducing the share premium first, and then the balance amount I'm using from retained earning. I am doing this because reserves are maintained in the most flexible form. If they don't give me this statement, then I will use the retained earnings first. So my total of share capital will be 125. All the share premium has been used away. Total of retained earnings will be, I will add and subtract this, and this would give me my total shareholders funds or my total shareholders equity. Now with this I complete the sum of Feb March 20, paper 20.